Hi, this is Pastor Steve with an encouraging word. Did you know the internet was first started in the 1950s to help one computer communicate to another across telephone lines? It would be in the 1980s that the World Wide Web as we know it now was really put into full use. With it came new applications and new possibilities. It was in 2003 that a little Swiss company invented Skype, which became the first means of people to talk across computers from place to place and actually see each other as they talked. Later would come FaceTime, which enabled us to do the same thing on our cell phones. Also in 2011, a little company named Zoom was started, which we use today to have Sunday school classes, Bible study groups, and chat sessions with lots of different people, again, all gathered together by this wonderful thing called the internet. Now it kind of reminds me of the Roman road. The Roman roads were started by the Roman Empire as they began to expand across Europe and the world as it was known at that time. The Roman roads were built by the soldiers, starting in 312 as they built a road from Rome to Capua, a port city where a lot of the Roman ships were housed. They would sail from Capua across the Mediterranean into the Atlantic Ocean to give troops to one place to another and to move supplies as well as they extended the empire. These Roman roads were built by the soldiers, and the primary purpose of the roads was to extend that Roman Empire. They'll build roads to France, to Germany, up into Great Britain and Ireland. They'd extend all across Europe, heading down to the Middle East, including Israel, further south into North Africa, even as far east as China. The Roman roads allowed them to conquer new territories, to send soldiers across these roads with their supplies to back them, to take new lands and to, again, extend that empire. But those same Roman roads were used by the followers of Jesus to share the good news after his resurrection and after the day of Pentecost. On that day of Pentecost, all the people from different places in the world were gathered together in Jerusalem. And when the Spirit fell and the church was born, they heard the word proclaimed. They heard Jesus shared through their own languages. Even though those Galileans and Judeans who spoke the words had no clue what they were saying, the Spirit gave them utterance. And it seems like the Spirit had paved the way for them, because those same Roman roads were protected. They were easily traveled. And so the gospel was shared, the good news of Jesus, the hope of the world, was shared to many places, many cities, because those Roman roads were in place. One might say those Roman roads were God's way of bringing the world together. I think the same is true with the internet today. Now, I know it's not a perfect means of communication or information. There's a lot of bad things that happen on the internet, a lot of things that are shown and shouldn't be seen, and poor content that's false and untrue, and sites that people shouldn't go to, and there's the whole dark web thing. But I believe that the internet's in place, that God has a purpose for it. That God will use even the internet, especially at this time, to bring people together, to make us have connection, even though we're in isolation and sheltered one from another. See, God has a way of working things together for good, even when we're not aware that He's doing something. It reminds me of Romans chapter 8, verse 28. Let me read that for you. It says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who've been called according to His purpose." God works all things together for good, or God's working things together for good. That God is involved in the world and in our lives in situations when we don't even know He's working. We don't even think He's there. We wonder where He is. It's the old Methodist doctrine of prevenient grace. Prevenient grace is the grace that goes before us, anticipating our need, knowing the road we're traveling down, and we're coming to a place where we need grace and help to get through. Such a time as this, it's the internet. It's the Skype, and it's FaceTime, and it's our smartphones, it's our computers. The Roman road is now over the airwaves, over the internet. And so we can stay close to each other even though we're not side by side. We can be the church connected in Christ because the Spirit's with us each and wherever place we are, in a room, in a house, in an empty building. Wherever his church is, God is there too. And wherever you are today, God is with you. And God is at work in your life, even in ways you don't realize it. Even He is in the midst of the coronavirus. We don't know all that the future holds, but we know who holds the future. We don't always know what's going on. But God is moving, and God is acting, as He always does, working together for good, even out of difficult and bad situations. We see it in history, as I mentioned with the Roman roads. We could talk to Valley Forge, the Revolutionary War, World War I, World War II. Instances where God worked and moved, and at the right time things happen in the right way. The same will be true for us today. God is still at work and moving. And we can be a part of that movement. We can be part of His caring, that sharing of good news, of hope, faith in Christ, even in times when we can't share it face to face. I think of an old telephone song, a little jingle I remember from growing up. My dad worked for the telephone company, so I heard it many a time. Let me share it with you now and see if you remember it.
Reach out and touch someone. Reach out, call up and just say hi. Reach out and touch someone. Wherever you are, you're never too
Kind of catchy, huh?
They're waiting to share your day. Reach out and touch someone.
Reach out and touch someone far away. Give them a call.
Yeah, give someone a call. You can do it over a computer. Maybe you can even see each other face to face. But let someone know you care. Let's use the road that's given us, the pathway, to reach out to one another, to care for one another, to support one another. As we go through this time, we know that God is with us, and we can be there for each other. That's a word of encouragement today from Pastor Steve.